All right, let's see. We on? Yeah, I think we are. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am in American Truck Simulator. We are going to try this again. We are trying to get from Chicago to LA today, and we are in the Peterbilt truck that I like driving often. We are set with a map. It's going to be about a 3 hour drive. I might try to cut some corners, but no promises. I tried earlier in the sim, but we did run into an issue with stutters, which made me stop the first stream I was in and try again. Now, give me a few moments just to make sure that this actually looks good. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Not too bad. There we are. All right. So, here we go again. Back at American Truck Simulator with a trip from Chicago to LA. We're going to try to get as close to Route 66 as we can, give or take some allowances for, you know, traveling, rest stops, all this stuff. It is not early enough for me to try to get a good shot of where we are in Chi-Town, but we are about as close to the fountain as I think I've ever been. I mean, at least since Microsoft's Midtown Madness Chicago edition. So let me go ahead and let's see. Parking brake is this guy. And I have nothing to tow. We're just going to go ahead and enjoy the road. Let me get started. And let me think. Is there any place I can go to for gas in the immediate area? Let's check. Let me zoom in on Chicago, Chi-Town here. There's a garage there. No, no gas. At least not until I go down 57 and 94. So I could theoretically go to the pier. Oh, not a pier. This I could theoretically go to like the Illinois-Indiana state line, or I could take my chances going down to 24 for my first stop, or I could pull off at State Route 43. There we go. Grab some gas, get back on the road, go past Smithfield, and hit it. So that's good. That is good. So let's go do that then. Now I'm going to take a moment to see if I can find any landmarks here, but I don't think I'm going to find any. We'll just do our best. In the meantime, everybody, welcome. I'm going to try to find some Chicago landmarks before I get out of town. I think I see one already. And of course, there are some iconic buildings here. And then we'll just hit the road. And we'll let the road do the talking for a little while. All right. So, lots of signs over here. 290, 90, and 94. We're not going to go that way. Do I see a fountain anywhere? I think I do, actually. Look at that. That's nice. It looks nice lit up at night. So I think I'll go past this light and stop and look behind me, see if I can get a picture of the skyline. Wow. Look at that. Okay, now. I thought, it looks a little blurry actually, a little strange. Is what it is because the buildings are further back, but we'll take it. There we go. I should have at least enough gas to get me to a few stops on I-55 before we start our road trip in earnest. And we'll probably be getting to the Santa Monica Pier either just before or just after sunset. But we will do our best. Sunset or sunrise? Probably sunrise. Or midday. Never mind me. So as always, chat, feel free to let me know if you can or can't hear audio too well. I'll try to adjust the volume to make it more comfortable for all of you. And hopefully we'll have a great drive out to the Santa Monica Pier, or the closest approximation thereof. And without a trailer, this truck is not going to have any problem getting up to speed, because basically this thing has a 625 horsepower engine. The power to weight ratio on this thing is going to be gargantuan. Now, I missed the Route 66 sign around the fountain, but we are going to hit the road now. And again, to my friends and to those hanging out in chat, thank you for being here, and thanks for being a part of my trip. We'll hang a right turn here and begin our trip in earnest. Now, I might stop somewhere between Texas and New Mexico just to stretch my legs for a little while. I figure that's going to be the chronological midpoint of the trip, and the actual midpoint of the trip, because it's going to be somewhere between the Texas and New Mexico border. And then the rest of it's going to be a lot of the terrain that I've been accustomed to, especially when I had the first few map expansions, because I had California, Arizona, New Mexico, and then I think I bought Oregon and Washington, but I didn't do much past that point. About 4 a.m. Central Time in the sim, and that would be about 5 o'clock no, 4 o'clock in real time right now. PM, not AM. Alright, now, am I close to where I wanted to pull off? Yes, I am actually. So let's pull off here, get some gas. At least the next probably 4 states or so. Again, a good Saturday afternoon to everybody. I am in ATS and we have just begun our trip. And like the unprepared trucker that I am, I realized getting out of Chicago that I wasn't going to find a gas station en route for a little while. So I figured it would be best to pull over now and get some gas as opposed to waiting for later. But we will do our best. All right, so where is the gas? It's further down here. It's a pretty big construction vehicle. Yeah, it's way down. Not that far down, but just beyond, almost at the tip of the range for the little GPS in the bottom right. We gotta stop at the place with the better food bar. Where is that at actually? Do you know? Because I mean, I'm gonna be going through the major cities en route, and there is a chance that some of the more iconic deviations. He said no idea. Okay, we'll have fun as we go. How about that? We'll do our best. Okay, so here we go. Rest stop number 1. Well, fuel stop number 1. Fill up at an Exxon. This Canuck has not been further south than Seattle. Parking brake, engine. Let's go ahead and fill up. Thank you, Lost Lake. I am better than I deserve. Mrs. Digi and I are chilling out at home today. We filled our bellies up with delicious Korean hot pot last night. I wrapped up work and Mrs. Digi said, let's go out. So we did it. And I came back probably a few pounds heavier at a minimum. And we had like a good chunk of Korean barbecue. I had a Japanese miso soup base and so many fixins. Well, not that many actually, but basically I had what did I say? I had watercress, bok choy, spinach. I had udon noodles. I had ramen, and on top of that, I had various cuts of beef and pork, grilled some pork belly, and yeah, I would say in general, I enjoyed myself. So definitely liked the trip. From a gastronomic perspective, at a minimum. And came home, chilled, saw the cats, and then I think hung out with some friends online for a little bit, and then I think I did a little bit of racing and trucking, and then I basically didn't make it till like about 2:30 in the morning, knocked out, and then woke up this morning around 9, then again 10:30, and transitioned into the day. Yeah, seriously, like, I've been enjoying some different culinary adventures. I also made a couple of days ago. I made salmon chowder because we got fresh salmon. I'm probably gonna try to eat some of that in a little bit. Maybe snack on some of it once we hit our kind of like first break. But definitely trying to make the most of what I have. some company on the way down out of Illinois. I purchased the Illinois DLC last night and installed it, and then I got myself set for today's run out of Chicago. I quick traveled in, uh, did a little rummage about the town. There aren't that many streets modeled at all. I kind of wish there were, but is what it is. I mean, you know, sometimes I just focus on delivering in a minor or major city. I would hope that if they decide to continue going east, that they actually wind up going to, like, say, New York and modeling more than a few roads. Because I mean, Manhattan alone is definitely expansive as an area. I mean, you're not going to see too many trailers driving around the city unless they're like on the major avenues or such. But in general, I would hope that, especially with their growing interest in creating, road trip packs, that they actually do elaborate on their city infrastructure a bit more. That's up to them, of course, but is what it is. Okay, we are 65 speed limit now. Sweet. We're not going west to Iowa, although it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm grateful. Years and years ago, ATS didn't have too many map expansions, and in order for you to experience the US, they had this coast to coast mod that had more of a generic presentation but let you drive across the contiguous USA. I didn't bother getting it because I don't think I wanted to install that. I wanted to wait for the map expansions to come out. And literally, I picked this game up in 2018 or 2019, and for about the past literally 7 years, they've been tacking on states, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And in general, the experience has been amazing. Let me take a picture. Ooh, what is this? Look at that, chat. Wow. That's a shot. We'll take that. Speed limit is now 70 miles an hour as we leave the greater Chicago area. Bye-bye, Chi-Town. Maybe we'll see you again next time. Looks like we're at the sticks now. Oh, man. So pretty. Look at that. Cloudy, though. I might expect some rain soon. That reminds me, I haven't given up on plugin development for the American Truck Sim Real World Weather plugin. I do have to do some thinking with regards to, exactly how I want to implement it and what some of the infrastructure requirements are going to be, because, I have to make a call to somewhere on the internet to get that data. And in order for me to reduce the number of calls that people that are going to download and use the plugin are going to make, I'm probably going to make a few calls a day, like say 3, 4, 5, or whatever, and then host the information somewhere, like some kind of server. Now, based on the messing around that I've done in the past year with coding, I think it's possible to create a a hosted site that only spins up when people are using it and spins down otherwise. So, in other words, it's like having a container for like your website and stuff, and then basically being able to just, I guess, save processing or space. This is a plugin. It's not going to be a website people are going to be browsing. So the plugin will basically, that API call would basically be housed there, and then eventually we wouldn't have a problem with it. Or in other words, we wouldn't have an issue with too many people accessing it, because again, the way the code works, it would only be pulled a few times a day from the server, and then it would be pulled from the private server onto everyone's computer. So I don't know if that effectively punts the responsibility for the data pulls from the weather API to my private server, but I think that infrastructure would be the most free and the least expensive. Like, I'm looking for $0 infrastructure. So if that's a container that spins down, if it's not being actively used, then that's fine. If that is a API where people have to actually wait a bit to use it, that's also fine. Again, it really is going to have to be something that needs to be not restricted, but basically capped for now. Now, what I've thought about in terms of usage and stuff is, if it is going to be something people are going to be able to subscribe to, I said that real fast, if it's going to be subscription based, then I can start taking that revenue and start applying it against upkeep and expenses. But that's a future me problem. Like, I don't want to think about that too much right now. But if it does become a successful plugin, then clearly that's going to shape future focus and how it's going to be accessed and maintained. For now, though, it's going to be totally free. I'm going to use it myself. I'm going to see what it's going to take for me to actually use it on a regular basis, and then maybe roll it out to a few friends and see what their opinions are and how I can improve it. There's also going to be a traffic mod that I'm going to try to include based on some very simple parameters. But again, I haven't even started development of that yet. I generally want one thing to work well before I try doing something else. So we'll see. But we'll see whether or not I actually have the capacity to finish the weather plugin. I believe I can. It's just a question of, resources and timing. As any of you that have followed me recently or watched recent streams know, I am doubling down on scenery development right now, and I'm basically going to try to do that more and not less, because if I do that more, then I'll put more time into it. I'll be able to get more airports knocked out for flight sim, and then basically I will be putting more focus on that, and that's something that matters more to me than other games or other plugin developments. The plugin development is going to, of course, benefit my IRL work as well, since I'm a software developer, but also it's something that I'm going to try to do. But if it takes me longer to do plugin development as opposed to doing scenery development, that's something that I'm going to accept as a part of my journey. Speaking of, this journey is basically going to be about 3 hours of real world time, I think, because 12 hours in the sim is basically 40 minutes. Actually, yeah, it might not be 3 hours, 40, 80 something. So it might be closer to two, but we'll see. It depends. Again, it depends on how many times I actually pull off the road to go to, like, a shop or something, or how long my breaks take. Maybe I'll give my brakes some breaks. Ooh, Toronto Road, exit up ahead. But we have gas, so we should be good, at least for a good long time anyway. I do have some other drivers, bringing in some revenue right now, so I'm not just wasting money on gas and not getting it back. I am wasting money on gas for the purpose of a road trip, but this is fun. An investment in fun. And I wish I had some dough. I might. the the idea of pizza crossed my mind, but also I'll eat what I have. I'm probably gonna make some really quick, maybe stir fry or something tonight, or if not stir fry. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, yeah. Mrs. Digi just reminded me that she is working on a food order, so depending on what we get, that's gonna heavily influence what's up, what the next meal is. We're still on I-55, and we have not crossed the Mississippi yet. Um, by all means, if you're curious, and we don't have too many diversions, let me know, and I can, pull off the highway, try to find something. I'm gonna check real fast. I don't think we've passed too many viewpoints yet. We just passed one in Bloomington, but it's okay. The next waypoint. Oh, actually, yeah, this is good. So Smithfield, there's a lookout here, but I think I'm going to. That's I-70. Now, I'll save myself for at least when we get to, like, Texas or something, for major, major viewpoints or major changes. But again, if you guys are curious, if you want to see a particular area that we're driving through in more detail, um, drop it in chat. Maybe we can pull off a little bit, take a little break, and then get back on the road. It does look like we're about to cross the river, though, which is cool. We are coming into East St. Louis as we speak. East St. Louis discovered. I do have some mods installed into my ATS right now, which one of them is the real brand names mod. I didn't. I used to be just a poster boy for the the fake brands that were, bundled with the sim, like Home Store and Taco Kingdom. And I was a huge fan of those for a long time because I was just like, making memes and having a good time. Ooh, look at that. St. Louis. Let's take a picture of the arch. How can we not do that? Oh, look at that. There's even a there's even a helicopter flying right there. That's dope. This is fine. Gateway Arch. Let's see. Zoom it down. There we go. That'll do. Some games, fake stores are better than real ones. Well, I mean, like the classic meme was Walbert for a long time for me, and I'm a fan. But I do have to admit, after several runs with the real world brands installed, they're growing on me, and they kind of remind me of something. I think the first stream or two I had them on, they were a little bit dangerous because like I kept seeing advertisements for like, you know, Coca-Cola and like McDonald's and like I don't think I saw Pizza Hut, but I mean that is a real world brand, so it's like, oh, I'm hungry. I don't think I was that hungry, but the memes were just flying left, right, and center, which was great. I'm a fan. Let's see. Do I want gas? Do I want to pull over anywhere for like a recruitment station? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm I'm not even carrying any cargo right now. I'm free as the wind. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Or at all. Mostly I think I just want to enjoy driving today. And if it takes as short a period of time as I think it's going to take, then I don't think it's going to be a bad drive at all, actually. In fact, I think it's going to be a relatively quick one. Jefferson City, and now we can get going a bit faster. I should be able to bypass way stations because I'm not carrying any cargo. I don't know though. I was able to bypass this one, which is great. Maybe they consider me a passenger vehicle if I'm not actually hauling anything. That will take some delay off the trip, which is great. And I think I just crossed into what? Kansas? I might have. I mean, we just crossed like into Missouri from Illinois. Are we still in Missouri? Are we in Kansas? I think we're still in Missouri. I want to say we are. because Kansas is like up and to the left, and we are not going that way. Ooh, we got some construction. Some people are like, like, random stuff. I don't like it. I feel like I like that because it definitely adds some, it grounds the sim kind of like in reality a bit. Almost like, this is the kind of stuff that happens IRL. You'll either have construction come up out of nowhere, or you'll basically be dealing with routes that have ongoing construction. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep rolling to Santa Monica and not spend too much time off the road unless the muse strikes me and I want to take a break. But this is definitely a trip that I've been interested in taking, and not one that hasn't been on my mind for a little bit. Got some thunder rumors. Wishing everybody a good afternoon today. I gotta be transparent. I was sitting at my desk, getting everything ready, and then took a call from someone. And then when I got back to my desk, I was like, do I really want to do it? Do I really want to drive all the way to Cali in the sim from Illinois? And only the committed streamers in chat or anybody watching the replay will be able to appreciate sometimes the significance of, I'm gonna call it stream fatigue. Now, I mean, I don't stream 5 or 6 days a week, certainly not like I used to when I started many years ago, but I've been streaming long enough to know there are points at which you start to feel like, you get yourself ready for a stream, you have a plan, you have an idea of what you want to do, you think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and you set your plan, like, okay, I'm gonna fly to Atlanta, or I'm gonna drive to Oklahoma and deliver cargo, or I'm gonna play Minecraft and build like 2 houses. And then you sit down, you get everything set up, you kind of map out what it is you want to do, and then you get ready, and then you hit this kind of invisible reality wall, and then you start thinking to yourself, do I want to stream? Do I really want to? And I'm not talking about this kind of goofy maybe I'll stream a little bit later. No, I'm talking about you're ready. You literally have time blocked off, and you're not sure you want to do it. And it's like, do I want to spend the energy possibly talking to myself for 1, 2, 3 hours? I mean, I don't have streams saved of like my past adventures from like years and years ago, but I used to do flights for like 4, 5, 6 hours at a stretch. And it's 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 challenging to have that kind of energy on a regular basis if you are not a well established streamer. And I'm not talking about making buku money. I'm just talking about having the viewership, having the people that will take time to spend listening to you. And that is not something I take lightly. I am very much appreciative of people that want to spend time listening to me and spend their afternoons, even 10 or 20 minutes at a time. If they go, hey, and then 15 minutes later say, hey, I'm gonna go now, like, thanks for your time. You just gave me some of your most valuable resource. You can make more money. You can go buy more food. You can't buy more time. That you're choosing to spend time with me right now, that you're even choosing to watch this video again, because I usually leave these up as VODs many times for pretty much all the way up until they expire. Sometimes, although sometimes I purge them. And you're choosing to spend time with me. Again, I appreciate that. And to my streaming friends out there that sometimes struggle with determining whether or not they actually want to stream, I appreciate and respect your commitment too. Which is why sometimes, sometimes I get a little overloaded and I want to draw back because I just want to, protect my mental health. And it's not because I have anything against anybody, but you sometimes check your mental tank and you're like on E, and you don't have the energy to even chat with people. I get it. If you're a lurker in my channel and you want to say hi but your brain is fried, I respect you. That you're even here right now adding to my channel's visibility is something that I don't take lightly either. So thank you. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you start up the sim or the game or the anything, and you're just like, no, I don't care. I don't want to do this right now. And that's a norm, to me at least, that's a normal reaction. And when I was coming up as a streamer, I had streams where I was just like talking to nobody. And after about an hour of that, I was just like, no, I can't keep, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think I had a I know I had a non-zero number of times where I think like my viewer count was like 0, and I was just like by myself flying the plane. Nobody was there. I just abruptly ended the stream. No qualms. I just said, no, I'm not doing this. I tend not to do that anymore because I do like sharing time with people. I also have different expectations and perspectives on what the stream really is about. Sharing time with friends. I mean, you're you're welcome to subscribe and to cheer and to donate through the link in chat if that's what you want to do and you're financially able to do so. I will gladly appreciate your financial support, but you also don't have to. Like, you engaging in chat is fine. Now, would I appreciate a mysterious benefactor dumping a couple $100 in my lap through a donation to so I can take like my wife out on a date. Hey, that would be nice, but it's also not a requirement. But thank you. Thank you if you wanted to throw a couple bucks in my tip jar, but were flat out broke and you felt bad. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Chat me up in the comments. You know, like, keep on lurking. You're fine. Sometimes I feel like it's just way more important to take care and watch out for others, but at the same time, I'm not going to freak out about that either. We're on the Will Rogers Turnpike. Nice. I think this is the first time that I've been down this stretch of road ever since I got the Oklahoma DLC. Which means we're in Oklahoma, which means I think in another 30 to 45 minutes of real time, we will be through Oklahoma into Texas and probably across to New Mexico. And thanks again for everybody that chose to lurk or to hang out as we make the crazy trek from Chicago to LA by approximating or coming close to the old Route 66 you know, map. Thank you for using the Will Rogers Turnpike. That's dope. All right, right turn to Tulsa. Oof, wow, that's that car was in my blind spot. I'm glad I didn't swing wide. All right, Oklahoma City off to our front. This is dope. Can I see enough of the city from out here? Let's see. In case it really is rocket science. Add placements. I can't really see Oklahoma City that well from out here, but I'll take a picture anyway. New billboard day. Yeah, seriously, like the branding in the mod, it kind of makes the trips more interesting. I mean, some of the generic billboards that are in with like the fake brands are all right, but I guess it is kind of fun to have branding like that here. And I've said this many times before. I certainly haven't been to every corner of the U.S., but as a statey, I can see the design and the architecture in various places, and it reminds me of things that I've seen and places that I've been to that were, you know, destination vacations that I've been to. I mean, dude, if you think I'm enjoying myself right now driving from Chicago to LA, the day that they release Florida, because they've already released Louisiana. All they have to do now is release Alabama, Mississippi, Alabama, and Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, and that's it. And I can do a haul from, like, you know LA to Orlando, or I can do a haul from, like, Seattle to, like, Key West or something. That would be like the showstopper right there. Like, Vancouver to Key West. That would be an ultra haul, and that would be about 4 or 5 hours of game time. But dude, I'm pumped about the idea of actually being able to drive to Florida. Insert Disney World reference here, clearly. But uh, I look forward to that day. There are going to be, I think, quite a few other states that are going to release before I think they get to that point, probably including North and South Dakota, at least South Dakota. Wait, do we have South Dakota? No, we don't. No, we don't. I think they're working on South Dakota right now. So we're probably going to see the Dakotas. I know we have Montana. At least I think we have Montana. We do. So they're going to release the Dakotas, and then I think the Midwest is mostly capped. And then they'll probably fill in from, like, top down. I certainly hope they get to Florida before, like, they start doing Maine and, like, New York and stuff like that. But I think once they hit New England, they're gonna have to get creative with their map scaling. Otherwise, yeah, it's like I said before. I'm looking forward to more releases. I've been a fan of their graphics and their development model. I'm a happy guy. With that, we're already basically 2 checkpoints into, like, the 5 or 6 checkpoints that we have for our trip. I use those checkpoints to kind of dictate and keep on excuse me, to keep on the route that we're taking. This is a good haul today. And I'm not even hauling anything. Just the truck. It's a little nutty that we're about to come up on the halfway point, and I just feel like I just got started. Stop. What do we do? We stuck on this thing? Ha! I think we're stuck on this thing. Whatever. All right. Take a picture and move on. Kind of a photo album for the trip, which I will try to post on Discord. Maybe not tonight, but definitely soon, as a memento of today's trip. Avenue, and we are on our way to Amarillo, chat. Let's see, did we pass? We passed downtown? We did, but I'll take a picture of the skyline for funsies. It looks nice. So again, everybody, welcome. In case you just wandered in here and are curious, I am in American Truck Simulator, and I am enjoying the map DLC that I've purchased as I do a non-stop trip, basically from Chicago to LA in the sim. We left a little while ago when it was still dark before dawn, and we are now, sheesh, we went through Oklahoma City. We're on our way to Amarillo, and we're going to continue going pretty much until we get to the Santa Monica Pier, assuming I can actually get on the pier or get close to it. That's basically the stream for today. I'm assuming this trip is going to take roughly 2 or 3 hours of total time, because every 12 hours of sim time, and given a fairly constant 119 map scale, is 40 minutes of real time. So 24 would be 80 minutes, which would be just over an hour, and 36 would basically be 160 minutes. So it's going to be between 2 to 3 hours today, leaning more on 3. So that tracks. That's about right. I do like how the landscape changes as you go from region to region. I mean, I was a kid when back in the days when my parents used to take road trips. We didn't do it very often, but even in the place where we lived, it was just neat to see the landscape roll by as you went from one place to another. I mean, the modern station wagon is the SUV, in the States at least, but as somebody that's actually seen the landscape roll by in different parts of the country, there's something nice sometimes about just like watching it go by and chilling for a moment. I'm trying to do more of that these days. Not afraid to admit that yesterday was not the best day for me mentally, and I was just shelved by the time I got wrapped up. But glad to be sharing this experience with you guys as we continue to travel down to California. We got time. Thing about this truck was, originally the Peterbilt wasn't my ideal choice to start with, and I got the Peterbilt as my first truck, and I think I literally paid it off in a few long hauls, and then I think drove it I was an owner operator, or just a single owner, for a long time before I decided to actually try to hire people and get my first garage going. I think I have like 2 or 3 garages at this point in the sim still. I'm probably overdue to get some more, but I used the Peterbilt for a while, and eventually I wanted to get like a Mac Vision or something, and I almost took out a loan for it, but then I kind of forgot about it and just got used to driving the Peterbilt more. And it turns out that the Peterbilt is one of the only trucks in the game that has, like the best, I guess, um, power and maybe not transmission, but definitely the biggest power plant available. So the more I drive the Peterbilt, almost like the less I'm going to drive anything else. And I even drove the old Mack truck that they had, and the new Mack truck. I don't think I have anybody driving a Cascadia, or if I do, I didn't try driving it myself. And I've just gotten accustomed to driving this truck and really enjoying it. So I completely missed that we exited I-44 and are now on I-40. Basically, we are about the halfway point, and then we'll be going through the Rockies probably not too long from now. And then basically once we do that, we'll hit like Arizona, and then the Californian desert, maybe even drive by Joshua Tree or something. And that'll pretty much be it. It's kind of crazy how quick this is going. Not that fast, but still. Thanks again to everybody that's hanging out and enjoying the trek with me. Is going to set eventually. The question is where, and what will we see before that point? Don't know. see us going meta with a billboard for the Illinois map DLC. That was absolutely dope. The train horn sounding as we drove over the train as it passed by. It's not very often you actually do that. Close to sunset now, I think. Chance to catch up with some good friends recently, and I talked about where I was and what I was trying to accomplish. One of my friends gave me some really good advice and pointed me in a direction that I was not totally expecting, but also simultaneously understood. Hey, I think it's important for me to try to figure this stuff out sooner rather than later. It's making me think about things like future content for this stream and my Discord, and also future in terms of content creation in general. Don't worry, I am not planning on ceasing streaming operations anytime soon. I do think that's a nice old car. I do think that I want to improve how I do stuff. I think that the natural result of continuing to refine your craft or refine something you do makes you better at it. But also, I want to take care of myself better, take care of my family better. So I'll see what the next few months bring. Oof, sunset is beautiful out here. Should we pull off here? I think this was kind of part of my route anyway. Let me see. All right. I can't. How quickly can I do this? Okay, great. So historic Route 66 goes through here. You know what? We're going to do that too. My favorite state to drive. I have driven in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, and Maryland. Of all of those places, I have enjoyed the rolling hills of like upstate New York by the Finger Lakes. I went out once to Niagara Falls, and I liked the trip up there, and I was such a big fan of the trip back. Pennsylvania, especially central, northern central, and deep center PA, where the Appalachians, the Alleghenies go through. So have I. So have I. I've been to, I spent time in Niagara Falls. I went to the Believe It or Not Museum, and went to like a nature conservatory up there. It was beautiful. Pennsylvania has some really scenic places. And I drove out to Bridgeport, Connecticut for a Christian concert years and years ago called Rock the Sound. And then, or at the time, I liked driving through upstate New York. Just outside of New York City, there's a place called Bear Mountain State Park. And you can cross the Hudson on this 2-lane bridge, and then you go to the area just north of like the Springbrook Parkway and stuff like that. It's so picturesque up there. Yeah, the Mid-Atlantic states have plenty of places you can go to get beautiful views and stuff like that. They really do. Places that I haven't driven in but have visited that I've enjoyed. Florida. Duh. Florida. Actually, I haven't been to many places in North Carolina. Actually, I don't remember at least. I went to Massachusetts a long time ago. Oh, and naturally, of course, I took a trip up to the Maritimes in Eastern Canada. I went to, excuse me, I went to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Halifax was pretty. And where else did we go? Not too many other places, because I think those were only like a few of the spots where I actually, had excursions. But if you're a technical driver and you like going through very populated areas, the Mid-Atlantic region is probably going to give you a pretty good challenge, because you're going to be going through, let's see, like the Baltimore and Washington area, and then you're going to be going, past Philly, and of course, like the greater New York area is huge in terms gonna be looking at a whole bunch of highways and stuff like that. A dream road trip for me would either be to someplace like Florida, or it would be to Wyoming, because I've wanted to go to the Tetons, like those mountains, go visit Jackson, maybe drive south into places like Aspen and Telluride. But I think I'd be happy right now just to go to New England, to Providence, to Cape Cod. And if I was gonna like have my pick of any place to go to, it would certainly be Tampa, Orlando, uh, long haul in a very comfortable, sporty little car. But I mean, if I'm not gonna be taking it to a track, having having a nice wagon or SUV that lets me stretch out and takes care of me is pretty good. Actually, really good. I got a chance to, while I was out yesterday, go check out believe it or not, I went to the mall and I went to a Porsche store, which sold merchandise alongside having a couple of vehicles there, which was just really cool. Um, Occasionally, you have like stores like that in major malls, but it was nice to get out and go walking around. Worked my legs, worked up an appetite, ate a good chunk of Korean hot pot, and came back and stayed up till like about 2:30 yesterday. But I think a dream road trip would be Mid-Atlantic region to Orlando, and then maybe double back and either go to like Cape Cod, or somewhere really nice. I don't know. I guess I'd have to look further into that. Yeah, I think I'd like to, at some point, do that, or even if I don't, um, have a similar experience. But I would like to at one point. I mean, I think about, I think about what I do on a regular basis, and it takes it takes advice from good friends and from Mrs. Digi to tell me something like, hey, dude, like, unplug or, like, take care of yourself. I am trying to do that, Chad. Trying. I don't think you're alone in that sentiment, Lost Lake. I think quite a few people have debated actually, seeing the country in an RV. I think I'd like to drive. I don't necessarily know if I want an RV unless I can take it to a really, really good scenic place and not just like stop there and camp for a few days, but like stay there for a while. Maybe, I don't know. Or just drive around and stop occasionally and enjoy the scenery. I guess it is one of those things where you might just have to experience it. But it's kind of cool to talk about. Okay, so literally at this point, we've got a little over 45 minutes left until we actually get to our destination, which is a bit trippy. Real time, not sim time. And we are on our way to Gallup, we've been zooming through, I think, New Mexico, and we might already be in Arizona if we aren't already. Wow, one of my drivers just made about 15 grand on a job. Way to go, Genevieve. That's Mondo Mula. Move over, $14,000 pyramid. I got an employee that made 15 grand on one job. That's great. Praise the Lord. I was supposed to pull over somewhere between Texas and New Mexico to stretch my legs, but I guess we're taking this all the way up to the pier, or to the coast. I will, take a break once I'm done. Move around. Look at something other than a computer screen. I might fly a fake plane tonight. I don't know. Wow. Loads of trains in the sim tonight. It's nice. Apparently this is the Purple Heart Trail. Well, I guess I'll wait to pass these guys. There we go. I just saw your dad joke last night. Excuse me. Ooh, hello. So either we're at Gallup or we're past it, but we will eventually be leaving I-40 for I-15, and that'll happen once we get to California. I-40 does not see a coast. This is nice. Sometimes it's just nice to drive a route and not be hyper focused on trying to do everything you can to be productive. Being on the road, I don't know if anybody else feels the way that I do about this. I feel very comfortable behind the wheel of a vehicle and being able to just let my brain just vent and let my thoughts just sit. The longer the trip, the easier it is to let that happen. like right now, for example, I'm just like I'm thinking, you know, I'm playing with the gamepad. Would it be cool to actually, try to hook up a steering wheel or get like a heavy steering wheel that just like plops down on my desk and drive a truck because I'm not driving a race car with gas brake pedals in, like 4-speed back, and really enjoy the experience. I think at some point I'd like to invest in that, but that's a want. That's definitely not a need. I'm way more interested in doing the scenery development thing for the sake of, I don't know, following through with the projects that I started. Because I think I counted how many airports I decided at one point I wanted to try tackling, and they just tacked on over because people were talking about them. I have like about 30 airports that I want to build, or excuse me, 30 airports that I have slated. So I have a hobby. It's just the execution and figuring out how to build those buildings. It takes time. Doing all that stuff takes time, and it's not a bad thing. It's it's a decision that I have to make. It's like, do you play more video games, or do you decide? Do you like focus more on work, like after hours, or do you vent the brain a bit? I'm probably not the only one trying to sort all those thoughts out of their head. It's gas is starting to get to quarter left in the tank, so somewhere between here and California, I will need to get more gas. Thank you again to everyone that chose to spend some time with me today for today's trip. I appreciate it. Even if you're not in chat, even if all you're doing is lurking, whether it's listening or you have me on in the background, thank you. It's it's nice to know that I'm actually, hitting someone's speaker, or at least broadcasting to some other viewer that the system says is in my chat. So we're down to a little bit less than 40 minutes of real time to our destination. And I think at some point soon we're going to pull off the road, pull off the interstate for about 5 minutes or so to look at a state road, which was like Arizona 66, which might be to us what Route 66 was. I don't know. Not totally sure. Man, do I wish I could just, pick up and go see family and take them out to dinner, spend time listening to them. I talk a lot about my trips to Florida, to like Disney World, because I'm a kid, but as I get older, I find sometimes being around people is just its own reward. I mean, some people might think this weird, but I think like on those trips, I would find my father-in-law at the dining room table in whatever place we were sitting, sipping a cup of coffee at like 9:30 p.m. Totally normal, and I could like sit down with him and catch up, or just like say hi real briefly and grab a snack or two, and then like go hang out and watch TV till like I fall asleep and get ready for the next day at like Epcot or Magic Kingdom or something. I think that's just a part of my life now that I don't want to take for granted anymore. I just think that we get crazy busy or crazy overloaded with stuff that we have to accomplish, or trips that we take where we try to do everything that we can. I get to missing people. I wish I was better, faster, smarter, capable of taking on more so that the people around me didn't have to do so much. I dream of a day, I dream of a day where my parents don't have to worry about, paying rent or paying utilities or going grocery shopping. Like that I could take care of that for them, They sacrificed so much for me. And I tend to get very frustrated with myself that I am not doing more. But I think that's part of my journey and part of my desire to be stronger for the people around me, which is to say, I'm trying to do I'm trying to do what I can to move my family and my friends around me forward. And that's not always going to pay off immediately, and sometimes might not pay off at all for a very long time. That's that's part of my journey right now is trying to get better at what I do so that people around me benefit from it. And yes, I am old enough now to look back on some people in my life that have now passed on. Acquaintances from church, a friend or two, family members. I miss seeing them. I miss hearing from them. I think in part that's why I don't um, tend to spend as much time. I tend to spend less time trying to do things that sometimes just don't make sense. Like, I'm talking about, you know, applying myself so hard for something which is not going to pan out. And you know it. Like, you know that you're really pushing yourself to accomplish something and you're just like you're not seeing the benefit of that, or you're not seeing what I'm trying to say, the feedback from that. Look at this. Wow. It's kind of like we stepped out of time. Old cars, old homes, old places. Metallic trolley. Yeah, kind of a mini Easter egg show going on right now. I'm glad I pulled off the main road for this. Teddy's anyone? Nice. once we get on the highway again, I suspect it'll be like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of real time until we actually merge onto I-15. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe. We are not that far away. Nice scenery. Can I get a good pic out here? Let's see. Ooh, I can. Look at this, chat. About 6 hours, 57 minutes of sim time left, so we're pretty close to our goal. Kind of crazy. Later tonight, I think I'm going to maybe mess around with, I don't know, a puzzle or build something or plan how to do something with the Raspberry Pi. Or just rest. Okay, we are in Kingman. Next stop's probably Barstow. Not stop, but next destination. This has been a pretty neat trip. It would have been cool to do it in, like, a Dodge Viper or like a, Ford pickup truck, but I don't necessarily feel bothered by doing it in a truck, in a tractor trailer, with nothing behind it. The execution is basically the same. But this has been cool. My station is closed today. Or at least that one is. We are zeroing in on our destination. Next thing that's probably going to happen is we're going to cross over into Cali and slow down at 55 for the rest of the trek. It's kind of nuts. SCS Software, if you are watching this stream, thank you for all of your work to date on the map expansions for American Truck Simulator. This has become such an adventure for me to be able to experience and drive across the country and not be in not experience it with the kind of graphic detail that I've seen before, that I haven't seen before, I should say. Gives me a chance to catch my breath a bit. Nice. Let's snap a picky. Picky, picky, picky. Ag inspection, which I should be able to ace. Yeah. Welcome to California, everybody. We are Santa Monica bound, Santa Monica-ish bound, and then I guess we'll cross cross into the valley very shortly. It has been quite the trek. The latest graphics and updates in this sim have made driving through places like this so much more scenic. Good gravy. Just look at that. I almost feel like having a plate of ribs after this. It's been such a American drive. Oh, about to run out of fuel. Let me see. Where is the next station? Should I get turned around? The next station is a little ways down the road, and it's going to be off to my right. If I can make it, it'll be the first exit on I-15. Let me see how many stops. Not that far off. Matter of fact, let me take it easy. I'm gonna cruise at about 50, and then see if I can actually gets me a little extra fuel economy. So, 17 something miles to the gallon. Let's see if we make it. Looks nice out here, man. It is a desert, don't get it twisted, but it's picturesque. Pueblo. Probably one or two more stops before I-15. And then the first stop on I-15 is going to be the gas station. Wheel is exit 50. Oh, wait a minute, there's fuel here? Or is there not? I don't know that I'll be able to pull off to get some, but I can certainly try. Oh wait, it can't go that way. Oof, that sucks. Oh well. Well, we tried, right, Chad? Let's see if we can hang in there. Let's see, how close are we? Not far away. We're going to go past Barstow, and then we're going to merge on I-15. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. We're almost I-15. Welcome to Barstow. 2 miles to the junction. Palm Tree City. Where does I-40 end on the East Coast? Is it Baltimore? I'm trying to remember. This is where I-40 ends. Closer to the West Coast. Now, just confirm. Okay, not that stop, the next one. San Bernardino. With that, I-40 is now just a memory on today's trip. Gonna get me some gas and then finish the job. KFC crispy chicken. Yay! All right, let's get some gas. Let's hit it. Alright, so we're either at San Bernardino or we're getting into San Bernardino very shortly and on our way into LA. A little nuts. Been quite the trip. Alright, Chad, here we go. Final push. Ugh. Let's get it done. And Lord willing, we will. Let's see how picturesque this part of LA is during the daytime. LA San Bernardino, 1 mile. Okay, go to LA, take an I-10. absolute hike. So if the scale averages out to be about the same, then I would imagine a trek from like Seattle to Key West would probably be about 2.25 of these. So probably between 72 to 84 hours non-stop. Maybe. I don't know. I just know it would take a long time. CLA? Excuse me, downtown LA. CLA from here? Let's see. Heh, look at that. I can. All right. LA skyline. And West Santa Monica, so we're going to bear right. Cool. That's interesting. We're going to Van Nuys. Actually, let me take a little bit of a detour. So I think we need to go to the left. There we go. Add 2. And you know what? No. Let me go through the tunnel. I can always double back to get to the whatever viewpoint that is. I want to see the beach. All right. Heh, we made it, chat. Okay, I think I have to double back because I think I actually have to go on the surface roads to get to the Santa Monica Pier. Because I don't think I can get there from here. So, pier, beach parking. Where are we? Well, there's the Santa Monica Pier right there. I don't think there is a surface street that takes me in to the pier. But isn't there? There's gotta be. So let me see if I can find it. Because, I mean, hey, it's cool to be at the beach, you know. Like, we're totally here, dudes. The ocean. But I want to get to the pier. So how do we do that? I know, very carefully. Give me a bit, chat. Alright, now go through here. So I can only make a right turn here. Hang on. So there's got to be a way around. I want to get as close to the pier as I can. Okay, drove over the road. There we are. I mean, if we can't go there, we'll at least see it. So, there you go, chat. I think I'll be satisfied with hitting the viewpoint. And then calling it at that point. So where's the shot? Is it here? Gotta be close by. Yep, it's right here. Almost. There we go. right, chat, let's enjoy the fruits of this haul from Chicago to Santa Monica. Oh, man. Nice trek today. The graphics are stupendous in here. There's Santa Monica Pier. And that's where we were about 5 minutes ago. Nice graphics. All right. Crazy stuff. All right, folks. Thank you for everyone that tagged along for today's today's trip out to Santa Monica. A privilege having you all aboard. That's going to be it for me for today and for this weekend. I will try to do a few quiet dev streams in the week ahead as I continue to map into building creation and scenery development at a few places, including Lafayette Regional. And stay tuned to the Discord for updates. If you are not a member of the Discord and you would like to be, I'm going to give you an invite that you can use to join today for the low cost of free 99 zero. And then you'll be tuned into any possible stream schedule updates when I go live, and scenery development and bits and pieces from my life. I talk about the scenery dev that I do and just my life and my faith. And I wish all of you guys a great rest of your afternoon and evening this weekend. God bless you all. I pray that you have a restful evening and time with family and friends, or just even, time to rest and recover. And I do pray, of course, that you are well taken care of and watched over. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for being a part of today's trek. And as always, stay tuned. Probably get started with some more work again this coming week, Lord willing, if I do scenery dev, and maybe some more plug-in programming, but I don't know when I'm going to squeeze the time in for that. We'll see. Yeah, no, it's going to be mostly scenery dev as far as I know. Maybe some plug-in dev, but that's definitely going to be off-stream. Folks, if you are beat, or if you are tired, or if you are low, and you want to feel better, let me pray for you. Heavenly Father, thank you for the time you've given me today on stream, for being able to allow us a chance to enjoy some relaxation in American Truck Sim. Thank you for SES Software and for the work they've put in to make this sim enjoyable, and so many advances that they've had over the past 7, 8, 9 years. I pray for chat and I pray for everyone listening to this right now. If they don't know you, Lord Jesus, I pray they do. I pray they come to understand that you came to give them newness of life through Jesus Christ, and that they can turn to you and be saved, to confess with their mouth that Jesus is Lord, and to believe in their hearts that you raised him from the dead, is at the core of what we believe. Heavenly Father, be with us, encourage chat, and encourage us in Christ through the rest of this week, into this new week, I should say, and give us a great evening. It is in the name of Jesus that we pray, Heavenly Father, our Savior. Amen. All right, folks, I'm out for today. Have a great rest of your evening, and until next time, I will see you. Bye.